In one of my recent videos, I discussed what are the different sales channels which exist depending upon what are the product category you are operating in and what is the kind of business you are planning to do. Now, in this video, I will discuss how do you exactly decide that what is the best sales channel for you, why this decision is important, because when you are starting out or when you are in your early phase of your business, you need to decide how to allocate your resources. And for this, having an understanding of how to go about taking your products or your service to different sales channel, this is a very important decision. And let me in this video briefly discuss how you can approach this. Now, when you are at a start of your startup journey or your, business journey, there are two options when you decide to go to the market. Either you experiment with multiple channels as well as at once. You decide that there are these many channels and I will go after all of them. What will happen in this case is that the intensity with which you can target all of these channels at once would be lower, right? So this is one option. Second option is you decide on few channels depending upon the specific business you want to operate in or you are planning to start up in. There could be one, two, three or four channels which you think that I will focus on these one, two, three channels, and all my strategies and all my resources, all my allocation of time, budget, etc., would be on these key one, two, three channels only, right? So I think that this is clear. This is established that these are the two options, right? Now, how exactly do you decide that do you have to go after multiple channels at once, open the gates for multiple channels at once, or you focus on a few? In a long run, there would be multiple factors. There would be factors, right, like what is the overall business potential of that channel as a whole, how big that channel can be. Other one could be, are there already existing competitors or players in that channel who have already made a strong headwind into that channel, so you think that it's already, there's a market leader here in this specific channel and I should as a business focus on another channels. There are other multiple such factors which a mature business could consider, but in my opinion, when you are starting out, you should focus on two things, right? First is the product category. So now basis the product category and the type of business you are in, whether you're a product or you're a service or you are B2C, B2B, you're making mass price segment products, or whether you're making premium priced products, by now you would have mapped your sales channels, right? And now here again, the point which I was saying in the, the earlier, the first point, that basis your particular niche, that how many channels are there, and now from there you will decide that these are the number of channels and how many I have to be in. So for example, if you have a very niche, you are into a very niche product, it could be that the channels which exist for you itself are only maybe two or three, and in that also one is the main channel where say 80 to 70% of your business will come from. Then you know that this is the channel I have to go after. Or if you feel that that's too big a channel to start with, then you know that two or three, maybe I could start with smaller, because in that case you know that these are the only three channels which exist. Eventually I will have to be present in all three, right? So then your decision in will come from the fact that there are only 3 channels, versus if you know that you are in a business where multiple channels exist, right? So for example, if you have opened a baking business, let's say, multiple channels exist, right? Either you could be selling D2C to customers, doing home deliveries to their home, or you could open your own offline, bakery shop, or you could say, let me list myself only on Swiggy, Zomato. They will come. I don't have to, be responsible for delivery. I just have to make and list myself on these portals. Another channel could be you could be a supplier to another bakery. So there's a big bakery in your area. You decide that let me set up an arrangement with them where I will go and give my baked products to them, and then they will do the selling. Another channel could be you strike up deals with big, hotel chains, or even the smaller ones to start with, right? Or office chains where they serve food to their employees or to their guests, and you say that I will provide these baked goods to you. So I think the picture is straight that for such businesses, multiple sales channels could exist. There are businesses for whom even more, channels can be planned out. So now in this scenario, you need to decide how many resources you have at that time. Going back to the bakery example, it might be possible that having your own shop and selling directly to customers through your offline shop, maybe that you feel is the best bet for the area or the geography you are catering in. But maybe you don't have the resources for that right now. Maybe you don't have the budget to be able to rent a shop, or if you open a shop, you would also need some store stuff. Maybe you don't have those kind of resources right now, the budget right now. Or maybe it's one of bakery businesses, your side business right now, and you don't have the time to spend the entire day at that shop. So now, while you realize that maybe having my own bakery, small bakery shop is the best bet, or maybe it's the highest potential channel, but you don't have the resources at that point. So then you start with the resources which you have. You map what's the channel which can help me grow my business from zero to a certain point basis your starting point. Now, the for people who are starting out, maybe you are first time founders, or you are still planning, you have not taken your product or your service out there to the market right now, the main resources which we need to plan for are time and money. Time, you understand, if you are, say, a student, or if you already have a 9 to 5 job and you're working on the side, or maybe you're a homemaker, you are spending a lot of time with young children, you don't have time to set up a full-fledged channel, then maybe you can go for the smaller channels to start with. And the second resource which you have to budget for is money, right? Maybe at the start you don't have the kind of cash flow a particular channel needs. In that case, you should target channels where a lot of investment is not required, or the amount of investment required is according to the spending power you have right now. So again, while there are multiple resources which big businesses account for, and you could also account for, but to start with, I think these are the two resources you should budget for very properly before going all out. Because why, again, I will emphasize this exercise is important, because you don't want to enter a channel and then realize that you did not plan sufficiently for the time, energy, and the money investment this requires. So what will happen is that you will not be able to tap into that channel properly. You will not be able to uh, you know uh, 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 give the energy and the commitment it requires. You will not be able to grow, and then you will eventually have to either leave or come back to another channel, start from zero, and whatever time, resources you put in the previous channel goes to a waste. So hence, very very important decision for anyone who's starting out, for all the plans you are making. And in fact, if you are a founder who's maybe waiting to waiting to raise investment and you're talking to investors, this is a very important question which comes, which investors would also want to know, that what are the channels you want to tap into and what is the reason for you to tap into those channels at the beginning. To conclude the video, I would want to emphasize the point again that in the long run, businesses, even big companies, they experiment with both the options in the, at a mature phase. They keep experimenting with multiple channels. Then they realize that certain channels don't give the planned results. They drop those channels. Then they focus on certain channels. They create in certain channels, they create the distribution in such a way that they then that becomes a competitive advantage for them, right? So that's, in the long run, we'll have to do a business for growth, for scale. You'd have to do target a lot of channels and experiment with a lot of them. But to start with, my opinion, personal opinion, map out all the channels, think of all the channels there could be, right? And then decide on, I would say 1, 2, 3, and map them. Plan for the money and for the time they would need. Money would include, of course, investing in people also, right? So resource and time. Decide on these two. Focus on a few in the beginning, and uh, take your learnings from them and implement in the other channels for your eventual business growth. Thank you.